Hi, I'm John Crawford and I'm blind. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how the world reacts to blind people when we're out in public. Okay, I'm going to start off by explaining a statement that I hear on TikTok all the time from what I like to call the members of our little community called Blind Talk. That is a group of blind and visually impaired TikTokers who are who are spreading awareness of the blind community throughout social media. And the statement that they make is that blindness is a spectrum. And I would like to explain that in a little bit more depth. Molly Burke says it this way. Molly Burke does phenomenal work for the blind community, and we all appreciate the pioneering that she has done. Molly has said that blindness comes in all kinds of different shapes and sizes. Some of us use canes and glasses, which I currently do. Some of us use dogs, and some of us don't use anything. When I was much younger and I had more functional vision, I didn't use canes, glasses, dogs, or anything like that. I was able to travel pretty well as long as I was careful and use the orientation and mobility skills I was taught when I went to the school for the blind. Now that I'm older and my vision has deteriorated even more, almost down to nothing, I am now currently using a white cane and sunglasses. That causes me to present myself differently now than I did when I was much younger. When I was much younger, I even had people say, "You don't look that blind," or more politely, they might say, "Well, gee, I really didn't think of you as blind. I didn't even know." Until they saw me trying to read something or see something that was a little distance away. Then they realized, oh yeah, this guy really can't see. But we present differently in those situations. People with dogs are I feel like they're kind of in kind of a middle ground somewhere, because although guide dogs have harnesses that are clearly marked, usually with the name of the school, mine was, when I was using a dog, it had Leader Dogs for the Blind printed or embossed right there on the harness, and it should have been clearly visible to those who were looking. But sometimes people still didn't recognize that harness indicated that the dog was a working dog, and I got lots of questions about that, and sometimes even got some of the service dog denial kind of problems that we all experience. So we present in different ways in public, therefore we get reacted to in different ways in public. And there are three major categories of reaction that we receive. The first is the compassionate, let me offer you a hand, or sure, I can answer your question for you. The menu says it's 99 cents or whatever. And that's great. Compassion, helpfulness, that's all great. We don't have to say much about that. Thank you very much for being helpful. Thank you for being compassionate. That really makes my day. Then there is the curiosity. And curiosity comes in many forms. It starts with, wow, if you're blind, how did you know where that can of beans was? Or if you're blind, how did you get down here to the store? Did someone bring you? All the way down to getting right in my personal space like that, holding their fingers up and going, how many fingers am I holding up? I'm just going to tell you right off that is my least favorite reaction of the curiosity reactions. I really hate it when people do that. You're getting in my personal space. It's uncomfortable for me. I wish you wouldn't do that. And I've got this friend I went to high school with, and when people would do things like that to her, she would go, well, I came into the store to buy bread. I didn't come in here to get my eyes checked. So you're going to get a variety of different reactions if you do that. If you really would like to ask a legitimate question, please do so. And with me, I'm golden. If you want to ask me about different things, as long as I've got time to talk to you, I'm more than happy to answer your questions about my blindness and my visual impairment and how I do stuff. I'm happy to be a good ambassador for the blind community, but be aware of the fact that some people would really rather not talk about it. Just be prepared for different kinds of reactions to that. And my least favorite kind of reaction of all, and one that will make me very defensive and even angry, is when people start going, well, you don't look that blind to me, or you're not blind, or well, if you're blind, then how are you using your phone like that? In this skeptical questioning kind of way. First of all, if I'm standing in the way at a counter, which I've been guilty of doing, and you want to say, "Excuse me, I need over here," and I say, "Oh, I'm sorry, let me move, I'm blind." Is there any reason for you to question that right then? Or isn't it possible that you could just take that at face value? Because if I'm standing in McDonald's, I'm probably not running some kind of a fake blind scam. I'm probably just trying to get something to eat, just like you. Okay, these are just some thoughts I had about the ways that blind people present themselves and how we are reacted to in public and how we may react in kind. Okay, tell us your stories. Tell us how people react to you. Tell us how you handle certain situations, especially if you've got some really unique and difficult situation you'd like to shed light on. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Have a good weekend.